nocturna.
La empresa AT&T inaugura la primera tienda interactiva bilingüe en los Estados Unidos.
When everything comes together, the results are self-evident. In the end, there's only one way we can describe our launch of the AT&T Experience Store. Un éxito. A success. And this is just the beginning.
Este es el lugar.
Te invitamos a la gran apertura de la nueva tienda interactiva de AT&T en Park Lane, donde tu mundo está al alcance de tus manos.
Comparte, conéctate.
Yo soy Chris Núñez y aquí me conecto con mi mundo.
Ven y llévate gratis una camiseta de Chris Núñez. Llévate un LG Shine rojo por solo $99.99. AT&T, ponemos tu mundo a tu alcance.
That was a major Control-Alt-Delete for us, I can tell you. But it actually was extremely successful. And so I wanted just to show you a little bit of a clip for that so you understand what a company like AT&T has to do when you see an opportunity. We went out and seized it. And what I'm showing you next is just some of the advertising. I'm going to go through these quickly because we're running out of time here and I wanted to leave time for Q&As. But you can see here, in this case, llamar a Puerto Rico sin usar tus minutos, things that we're using to target particular segments of the Hispanic population. You know that it's not one monolithic segment, that we have to attack and address and segment each of those Hispanic segments. So we have been very, very focused, even using Spanish language novelas, to make sure that our message connects with all the different segments in the Hispanic market. And we've done it with different artists. We've always, and this is something that I feel very strongly about, as we address the market, I've always wanted an advertising to be aspirational. Again, not to put limitations, not to put things on Hispanics that I think some other companies may do, but to make sure that our advertising hits the segment, but hits it in an aspirational way and in an appropriate way. And then finally, I want to switch to the results, because all of this is fine, but what's happened? I can tell you that I'm very proud that over the last 3 years we've tracked our metrics, and I can tell you that AT&T now is the #1 market share among Hispanics, that we have over 7 million customers in all, generating $5 billion of revenue for us, and I think we're well positioned to grow. So it's great advertising, it's great execution that is leading to actually great results. So I've given you examples of where we had to really reboot and rethink what we have done, and the end results has been fantastic success. So let me now talk about the rebooting in the advertising industry, because I'm telling you that it's coming, and you're going to have to be ready for it. You can either seize the opportunity, or I think it's going to leave us behind. And I want to partner with advertisers that are willing to take a risk, to get out there on the leading edge and seize the opportunity rather than wait for it to hit you in the back of the head. And so I want to talk a little bit about what I see happening. What I see happening in our industry is just an incredible change as people go from traditional media of TV and radio and print to seeing things on their PCs and on their handset devices. And I think the handsets are going to be extremely disruptive. That's our business. We know it well. And we think that what's going to happen in the advertising industry is going to be amazing as advertising moves from TV. It's already there on the PCs. And now it's beginning to take effect in the handsets. But I think that has the biggest chance for being disruptive, even compared to the TV. Let me tell you a few things that I think are going on and the challenges that we face as we see this digital revolution going, and especially with our youth. You're addressing a market that I told you is on a median age 25.8 years old. They do things differently than we do. They do it differently. And if you don't understand that and have people in your company that understand it, you're going to be left way behind. Let me talk about what I think is happening here, and I call it, fragmentation. I think one of the biggest challenges is not just that we're moving to 3 screens, but the markets that we're trying to target are actually fragmenting and getting smaller and smaller. So you have kids that are playing video games, you've got kids that are interacting with their TV, you've got people watching on their PCs, And what I see is more and more fragmentation. So you're going to have to figure out how to help us target those that are using PCs, those that are using handhelds, those that are using... How do you get to that market? And I think part of the key is, again, to have people in your companies that are young enough to understand this market. I'll tell you a personal story, and I wasn't planning to tell you this one, so this is an extra one, but it makes the point. When I worked in Latin America, I had a very small country that was not performing well, Ecuador. We ran our wireless business there, and we thought that the company was doing well, but it could be doing a lot better because it was not addressing the youth market. And so we reorganized the company, and what was previously an all male-dominated senior management team was broken apart, and we put a 22-year-old young lady in charge of youth marketing. She had the whole market. She could name the distribution points. She could name the advertising that we would do. She could pick the colors for the packaging, and she just changed everything. I mean, it was so dramatically different that I didn't even like it. But I trusted her. I trusted her. I know that I was not the target audience, and I said, do it. She put in this aspect of the market she was segmenting, we called the cool segment. Cool in Ecuador is the same as cool here, okay? It translates really well. So she was targeting the cool segment, less than 25-year-olds, the same market you're trying to address. When she changed everything, the marketing, the distribution, all of a sudden, our text messages in Ecuador started going through the roof. They went so high that I had our internal auditors check it 3 times. They were legit. Ecuador at the time had the highest number of text messages per capita in the world, only second to the Philippines, what this young lady did. But here's the learning. Here's the rebooting, right? 22-year-old lady addressing a 25-year-old market. We had a lot of people who were older than 25 that thought they were cool, but they were not. So I hate to tell you that if you're older than 25 and you're trying to address the under 25 market, you may think you're cool, but you're not. Sorry. So fragmentation. The other issue is disengagement. Oh, this is, as a person who pays the advertisers to put advertising, this is my worst fear, is that you would do all these great things, you would get it on all the 3 screens, and then they wouldn't pay attention to it. How do you get people to get engaged? I think that's going to challenge us to do a Control-Alt-Delete. As the old things are not going to work when they're multitasking and they've got a handheld device and they're playing a video game and they got the TV on, okay? Try to get through to that youth market and figure out how you can be relevant in that market. I think that's going to cause us to change the game. And I tell you, these changes, they're not going away. Don't think it's a fad. This is permanent and it's profound. And if you don't figure out how to address it, I don't think you're going to be successful. Do you have an opportunity? Absolutely. You have one of the greatest opportunities in the world. You're trying to do business in the greatest country in the world, in one of the fastest growing markets, the Hispanic market, and one of the youngest markets in the world. If you can figure this one out, you can figure out anything else that's happening. And believe me, in wireless, the rest of the world, the young people live and work around their wireless devices. The wireless device, I think, is becoming such a common place that even for people like me, I wake up to my wireless handset. Okay, I'm in the industry, but I don't use the alarm clock anymore. When I go and travel in hotels like you may be in today, I don't want to figure out all those alarm clocks that have 1,000 buttons on them. I know how I can set my alarm, and it works all the time on my handset. So I wake up to my handset. I hope that you do too. If you don't, I guarantee you, the more you use it, the more useful it's going to be. So we've got to get people to understand the rituals that people go through, so we can target the right advertising to hit them in an unobtrusive way. Not interject an ad in the middle of a video game when somebody's getting